Hello everyone, it's Jordan from the Animal Channel, and this is Cricket the ball python. He is one of my foster animals that I've taken care of over the past year and a half or so. And basically today I'm going to be doing a little ball python care video, and I have a care sheet that I'm going to be sort of reading off that I made myself about a year ago or so, and it's right in here. And I will be copying and pasting the care sheet in the description so you guys can print it off or read over it and stuff if you guys need to. The size terrarium or rack system that you're going to sort of need depends on the size of the ball python and everything. So you can either have a rack system, and I'm not too sure on exactly the right dimensions and stuff since I don't have a rack system. So if you needed to know the actual dimensions, you would probably have to ask somebody who either makes the rack systems or somebody you know who owns ball pythons and has them in rack systems. Now, some people complain about having ball pythons and rack systems and stuff, but honestly, they're a very lazy snake. They don't move a lot at all, so they don't need that much space, and it's almost better having a smaller space for them so they feel more secure and everything. And if you're going to go with the terrarium way, if you have a baby, start him out in probably about a 20-gallon, and that'll last him a year or two, because Cricket's still in a 20-gallon right now, and he's this big, but he doesn't move around at all, and so that's okay. And then when they're older, you're going to have probably about a 40-gallon tank. With these guys, you can go bigger if you want, but make sure that there's lots of hiding spots and everything. You don't just want to have a whole bunch of empty space, otherwise they'll get stressed out really easily. And kind of the stuff that you're going to put in the terrarium is anything that you would for any other snake, like water dish, at least 2 hides, one on the warm side, one on the cool side, and then like some decorations and stuff to make it look nice, maybe some fake plants and leaves and everything, or maybe also having something in there to help them shed, like driftwood and whatnot. Okay, so now it's time for the heat lamps as well as the bedding. So the heat lamps that you're going to use for probably a 20-gallon tank would be a 50-watt light bulb. Those work good. I like to use the infrared ones. And then for about a 40-gallon, you're going to want to use probably about a 75-watt because the heat's going to be dispersed a little bit more. And you can buy a heat mat and put it on during the night time so they still have somewhere else to go for heat since the lamps will be off, but you don't really need one. It's probably fine if you don't. And then if you have a rack system or anything, just use heat tape or heat mats, or probably heat tape. I think is the way that you would probably go. Now for bedding, there's tons of things you can use. You can use either shredded cypress, you could use newspaper, paper towel, Carefresh, probably even like reptile carpet or something like that. They all work really good, but it depends also where you live and how much work you want to put into it, because if you have like paper towel, which I used to use for him because he used to have a really bad scar here and I'd like do a whole bunch of stuff. Anyways, so he couldn't have anything that he could rub against and it could, I guess, make it worse or hurt him, so I had to use paper towel. And it works good, except when they go to the bathroom you have to replace all of it, and it takes like 2 seconds and it's really cheap. But it can be a little bit more of a hassle, whereas you can spot clean easily with Carefresh or shredded cypress and stuff like that, because it's just contained to one area. You just scoop it out and put fresh bedding in there and everything, so you can spot clean really easily with that. But it's up to you guys and where you live. Now for humidity and everything, again, it depends where you live. If you live somewhere where it's already humid, you're not going to really have to worry about misting them or anything unless they're in a shed. But if you live somewhere where it's dry, like I do, you're going to have to mist them about once every other day lightly and give them maybe a nice little bath or something once a week, which I like to do as well. And kind of cleans them and makes them stay nice and fresh. Now for feeding and everything like that, so Cricket's supposed to be eating weanling rats, but I can't really find them at any pet stores anymore, so I'm just giving him 2 rat pups right now. But it's kind of hard to determine which one sometimes if you're a beginner, but once you're used to it and stuff, it's really easy. So pretty much you just want to go with something that is about the size of the thickest part of their body, but not too big because they might not be able to swallow it, because since these guys have a really thick midsection and really thick belly and everything, you don't want to give them a rat that's so big that their little head can't take it, or their smaller parts here. So generally you don't want to go too much bigger than the size of their head, and that's kind of the rule for ball pythons. You'll kind of get used to it a bit more, but about as big as the thickest part of their body, but not too much bigger than the side of their head, because they can take a pretty big rats. I know that he can take weanling rat and everything really easily, which is, I don't know, they're pretty big, and he takes them fine. They're a bit different than clubrids like corn snakes and stuff, because corn snakes, their whole body is about the size of their head, so you can just go with the size of their body, but these guys, their body's a lot bigger than their head, so you have to go about as big as that, but not super big so that they can't swallow it. That's kind of the rule for them. And shedding process is pretty much the same with any snake. It takes about 5 to 7 days or so, and during that time you're going to want to mist them once or twice a day, give them a bath once in a while, like right before they shed, and don't handle them too much. If you want more information, I can put the link to my snake shedding process video in the description below, which explains everything, goes into greater detail. And now ball pythons generally get about 3 to 5 feet or so. They can get probably a little longer. They won't really get too much smaller. I don't know how long cricket is, but you can kind of see. I don't know. It's kind of hard to measure snakes, but he's about that long or so. About as long as my arm. Oh, a couple feet for sure. And, you know, if you have a female, they'll probably get a little bit larger. And, yeah, it kind of depends on what size tank you have, how much you feed, and stuff like that. But they generally don't get too big. They're just a little bit more heavily bodied, I guess is the right term to use. So they're a good beginner big snake, I guess, because they get pretty thick, but they don't get super long, so they're not, you know, too hard to take care of or anything like that. And yeah, so that is about all. They should live for about 15-20 years or so in captivity. They could live longer if you do everything right. So they'll be a long-time companion. And if I forgot anything, please leave a comment below so other people can be helped out as well. And yeah, that's about all. Thank you for watching. Please like, favorite, share, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Have a nice day.